#I, data engineer.
My name is Daniel. Some call me the Data Janitor, and I'm building Pipeline Data Engineering Academy, the world's first data engineering bootcamp. Not one of today's data engineers grew up as a kid imagining becoming one. I definitely didn't. That made me think about how others look at our line of work, and I feel the best way to explain it is through asking a handful of practitioners about their journey and how their work look like. Who are you and what do you do now?
Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I'm Tamás Németh. I'm the tech lead manager at Prezi's data engineering team, and my team is responsible for owning, running, and maintaining the data infrastructure at Prezi, and as well building data products around this.
Sounds like an undertaking. How did you end up as a data engineer?
I think, as you mentioned in the beginning, nobody born as a data engineer, me neither. I started in the digital signature industry first, so I was there as a C engineer, so C developer. But beginning of my career, I was at a small company there, and I was basically assembling and operating servers. So I was manually assembling these servers, so my own, and maintaining firewalls and building C softwares around OpenSSL framework. Then I was a bit fed up with this, and I switched because I wanted to be a Java developer. So I spent at my first workplace 7 years. And then I became a senior Java developer at a huge investment bank for 4 years. And that was the time when a recruiter found me from Prezi with a security engineer position. And they also told me there is an opening in data engineering as well, and no need prior experience. So, and I told them that, yeah, I'm not really interested in being a security engineer, but I'm more interested in being a data engineer. And this is how it started for me, 5 years ago.
What projects or tools or trends excite you these days?
Well, usually those projects excite me, which kind of problems we are tackling currently. And I strongly believe in the importance of the good foundation for the data platform. I truly believe in that. Even if you are if you are cooking, and even if you are the best chef, if you have not good quality ingredients, you won't be able to cook a good food. So that's why I truly believe as well in the data platform field as well, and when you are building a data platform. So nowadays what I'm more excited is about data ingestion, how you can move your data into your data lake and what kind of format you can store. So there are, I think nowadays, some interesting projects what I'm checking out, like Iceberg and Data Lake, even though I think it's maybe early to jump into it. I also really excited about that. Finally, there are tools about data discovery, which I think every company on their own implemented their own solution, like we did as well. And I also think that it's pretty important to have how to do data quality checking and business metric monitoring, because I think if you are a data engineering, this is the part which basically the worst part working on, when you are always just plumbering your data pipeline.
Makes sense. How do you see the role of data or data engineering, especially, changing in the coming years?
One thing I know that what won't change, and I think company will migrate from one tool to another tool, because the tools are changing pretty fast there, and what people needs to be aware of that you always should be prepared to moving from one tool to another tool. And what I do hope it will improve is basically efficiency of the data usage, because every company is collecting a huge number of data, and we are just using a very small portion of that because the quality is not good for those data, or we don't know how to find those data and things like this. I do hope that this will improve in the upcoming years. And also what I do think will happen, that more part of the organization we use data. So far, mostly the product or maybe marketing is using the data, but I see the value if from infra teams and internal tooling teams to using data and understanding better how their tools are performing and how the internal users are using it.
What piece of advice would you give to someone who's just starting their career in data engineering?
What I usually recommend is keep learning. and always check out other companies, how they are doing, and always ask the whys and understand why they are using those tools, why they build that infrastructure, and don't try to copy what others do. Because most probably in your environment or in your organization, that solution won't fit. But if you understand the tools, so which tool you should use for what and in which case, then I think it's easier to pick the right one for you. So don't use some fancy tool because everybody is using it, but more like using it because you know that this is the best tool for your use case. And also don't be afraid asking whys. Yeah, and also there is I think another thing what I saw and I usually bump into, it's like, there is a trend nowadays, this real-time streaming stuff. And wherever I worked, it always came up, that, hey, we want to have like results in real time. And if you just blindly accept it and you start building out a streaming infrastructure, which I think it's pretty hard to do it properly, then it most probably, and I think in 99% in these cases, it turns out the data is not important to be there in real time, most probably in a day or in a week or in a month. So don't get tricked with this.
Thank you for this insight. I also tend to agree with it, because if you can double check and justify with business that they can react in real time, then they need real time.
Yeah, and also if you tell them the price of this, how much this would cost, then I'm pretty sure they will change their mind. I know there are use cases, so don't get me wrong, where it makes sense, but I think in 99% in the cases, it's not true.
As a data engineering manager or data engineer, you have to talk to a lot of people, but sometimes you have to be in the zone and do stuff. Do you listen to music?
Yeah, of course. I'm using Spotify. I usually use Daily Discovery because I really like random music. But otherwise, I'm mostly like some kind of breakbeat music or like Prodigy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think data engineering is fun. And what I really like in that it's not, you are not focusing in one area. So that's why I think it can be frightening. And that's why I think it's a pretty good doing this, because you see you learn in a wide variety of things. So it's not enough just if you can write SQL, you have to know like distributed system, or you have to know like how the network works or how the infrastructure works, and also you have to write code. So basically it's a very wide spectrum of this engineering field.
Thank you. If you are a data engineer and you feel like sharing your story, reach out. I'd be happy to chat with you.
#IDataEngineer